Long day lay me low. Yo, what's going on, everybody? I gotta get that slurp in. Welcome to Get to Know Your Creator. It's a Saturday. Jason, why are you doing it on Saturday? Because I do what I want. You know, we have our reasons, and I couldn't. But I'm going to be away next weekend. I couldn't fit our guest in until 2 weeks. I didn't want to do that to him. So we're going to do 2 back-to-back ones. We're doing one today, one tomorrow. But today we got a great guest, a fantastic guest, determined to get these books funded, get these indie projects in your hands, high-quality, fun stuff. With me, as always, is my great host, co-host, Angela. You're one of them.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well today on this fine Saturday.
We that's great. It is Saturday. I all day I kept thinking it was Sunday because we were doing this.
Yeah.
So,
and all day I kept saying, "Don't forget that it's not Sunday, so you don't forget to go on the stream." So that's what I was doing all day.
I knew it was. Yeah. Well, I would have messaged you anyway. But
where are you at?
We have a great guest today. He was clawing. He was biting at the bit to get on the show, Angela. He was like, I have to get on that channel. That's what he said.
It's the bestest ever.
It's the bestest ever.
You almost have 900 subscribers.
Yeah, we got the bestest ever. We got Eric Weathers.
Hello there.
Hello.
Weathers.
Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you. You did send out a tweet, and I didn't see it actually. Billy saw it. Billy Basco, a friend of mine, and he said he tagged me in it. So thank you, Billy. You know, for
thanks, Billy.
Together.
Hey, Billy.
Yeah, getting around the circuit. How's your day going, Eric?
Pretty good. Yeah, I had an errand to run this morning, so that I actually got me out of the house for a little while, which is rare. It feels rare, more rare than it should be. It's been sort of I've been trying to get work done, but I've also kind of just been taking it slow. Just last night was wild. We closed out. We went to the in-demand phase of our campaign, so quote unquote closed out. So I started streaming like 7 in the evening, and it went till like 1 o'clock. So
brutal.
It was a wild night. Yeah.
Well, I even told I think it was Samedi, because he's going back to his hour because he was going longer. I'm like, dude, if I go like after 2 hours, I'm totally drained. I'm like, I want to get. I'm just done. I don't know what it is. Like, I could sit and draw for hours on end, but for some reason, like even drawing on a live stream, after a couple hours, I'm just gone. I'm like, I gotta get up. I gotta move around. I gotta do something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I have this weird thing also. When I'm sitting here, if I'm sitting here working, drawing, I'm fine. The second I get on a stream and start talking, I get really hot. Like, and I have to turn fans on, and
you too?
I don't get it. Yeah.
Dude, I'm the same way. Like, I'm actually going to start to granted, I have a dryer right next to me, and I'm in my bedroom with the computer, but I could, like you said, I could be drawing just fine. I could even be sitting on my computer watching Netflix just fine. But once I'm doing this, like, I'm going to take my jacket off in a minute because I'm going to start to warm up. But yeah, I don't know, I start to heat up. I don't know if it's like the energy of the excitement of the stream. Like, your body is just, even if you're mentally fine, like, your body's like, oh, this is great. And so it just heats up. But but before we get started, we have a chat pumping up and over there. I see a few people.
We do.
Say hi to the chat.
First one in the house, Jelly Green.
Hey, what's going on,
Jelly Green? And got Erin the Steadfast in the house.
I saw that. I was like, I love that name. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button. We need you here.
And it's Haldeer 6480. Hey there, Haldeer. And on Facebook, you've got Gary Bruce checking in. So
what's up? That's Leg Kick. What's going on, man? Good to see you on
Hey,
the Facebook
Leg
side.
Kick. Oh my gosh. Hi, Leg Kick. And then we have Ian Ward popping in. And Shane from Swarm.
Oh, I got my Swarm book recently. It's so cool, man. I didn't want to
open it on the
Shane? I didn't want to open it on the stream because not everybody has it, but
yeah. No, it looks cool. I can't wait for mine. And then we have Hockey here. Hello, Hockey.
Nice. Welcome. Hockey's got a great piece in the Lucid contest. So everybody go vote for
Hockey.
Yeah,
so good.
I really like that one.
Dude, he's making me mad with how good he's getting. Like, it's like, stop it, you know? It's really good. Yeah. A lot of people are leveling up though in the indie scene, and it's so hard to pick projects to back and stuff. I mean, like, I when I first like was introduced to you anyway, like I'm always like, oh, everybody's like, oh, Eric Weathers is the letter, Eric Weathers is the letter, awesome. Like, I mean, great stuff. But then I saw Battle Brick Road. I'm like, this dude can draw. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, what came first? Like the drawing, like as a kid, or did comics even get into the picture, or was it books? Like, what came first?
Oh, it was comics. It was drawing. In fact, it was specifically, it was like I wanted to draw the Ninja Turtles because I grew up watching the cartoon. So that's where I started. There will always be near and dear to me. Those four rascally radical turtles.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really where it started. I always drew growing up. I had, supportive family that encouraged me to continue to do it. When I was, I don't know, 10, I could have been younger. I could have been older. I was definitely,
Yeah,
I
it's
could have
hard to
been younger. I
gauge, like, the
probably wasn't older,
preciseness.
but yeah, but in my bedroom, my dad built like a little drawing table that would like fold down out of the wall. Um, yeah, it was always very supportive family, and that's
Was
been
was he like a
one of the main reasons
carpenter?
why I was able to continue doing it.
Was your dad a
So
carpenter or
he's a handy guy. He could always
handy guy?
build, kind of whatever. Yeah, yeah. Just sort of grew up having to work with his hands. He was when I was younger, he was a car
A
auto body
mechanic?
repairman.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, he would do that kind of stuff, paint, and did all kinds of stuff. So he's the kind of guy like, we need a new roof, we're gonna reshingle it ourselves. We need a deck, we're gonna build it ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey,
So
gotcha.
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
You
want
like
something
a
done right, do
Tim
it
the Tool
yourself.
Man. You get
Tim the
hmm
Tim the
Tool
Tool Man as your dad.
It's funny. We've been watching that as a family. Me
Oh,
and my
dude, Home
family.
Oh,
Improvement is
Yeah.
such a
cool.
great show. They
It's a
they
great
they
Yeah,
show.
don't make them like
classic.
that anymore, man.
Yeah.
No.
Preamp Dolby Watts A, B, and C, man. But I love Tim Allen. Back then he was so
Yeah.
good. That's awesome though. And
Mhm.
but see, that's cool that your family was encouraging and really, did they take you to like what do you know what your first comic book was? Because I know what mine very first one was. Not everybody does. Do you know what your first book
Yeah.
was?
I have one that I remember as my first one, whether or not it actually was. I'm not entirely sure, but the one that I remember getting was the trade of Claremont and Miller's Wolverine.
Oh,
I
dude.
remember my mom brought it. I think I was in kindergarten, and my mom brought it home because I would draw pictures and she would hang them up, put them on her desk or whatever
Yeah.
in her office at work. And so one of her coworkers saw it and said, "Oh, your son likes to draw. He might like this comic book." And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. You got Wolverine like cutting this arm off of this bear and fighting this like silver samurai ninja
Yeah,
guy
dude.
and fighting all these ninjas and stuff. It's like getting shot with arrows. It's like, this is awesome. Like it
Dude,
was
especially
right
the
up my
trade.
alley.
The cover to that trade
Yeah.
is so cool. It's just him fighting a bunch of ninjas, It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
especially seeing
Really
that as a
iconic
little
stuff.
kid. What's cooler
hmm
than ninjas as a little kid, even now.
Yeah. And he's smoking cigars and getting in bar fights. And like, it was just, there was nothing else like it that I was aware of, at least that I had seen before. And it really was like, all right, this guy's cool. And then, a year or two later, you see the animated series, and then I was all into the X-Men at that point. So
Yep.
trading cards, comics,
Yeah.
cartoons. So
Do you
that
still
was
have
all.
all that stuff from when you were a kid, or do you like lose some of it here and there throughout moving and stuff
No,
like
I
that?
don't. I don't really
Oh,
have any of it.
oh no.
The toys probably garage sale. You go off to college, you get rid of some of that stuff.
Yep.
Not sure whatever happened. I actually know the cards were sold. I do remember this. It was either when I was in college or I was in the army, and my mom had a garage sale, and I lost a bunch of stuff. Oops! I accidentally triggered the balloons.
It's not a
Oh,
happy
no.
event that you lost a bunch
Yeah,
of
no,
things.
it's not at all.
Yay!
Yeah, I do remember my mom sold my card. I had a
Oh,
pile of Trapper Keepers full of those 9 card,
oh,
and it's gone.
oh, it
She probably
hurts.
got like
Oh,
$2 out of it or
yeah.
something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
probably,
Like,
man. But
that
if you
does
think
hurt.
about it, it might have gone to a good home, and maybe it went to somebody who was inspired by those cards also as a kid, and now they're
I hope
they're
so.
doing this. Like you never
Yeah.
know what things can go to, and what like you can be inspired by what you can give to other people. So that's all.
Right.
That's in a way it could have been good. You don't know.
Yes,
You know,
hopefully.
like
That's true.
dude, I lost all my cards. Like I don't even know where they're at. Because I went to college, did all this other stuff. Family moved. Like all my comics were kind of fine. I'm missing some things here and there, but the cards totally gone, dude. And like you, I had one of those boxes that separated them. You know, that had the separators. Dude, I had
Yeah.
you know the X-Men 1s and 2s. I had the Holobrant series. I had the Joe Juicos, and like I mean I had an insane
Some of the
amount of
original Dan Lawless pieces from the Marvel Masterworks too. That's
oh
what he
Marvel
was doing back
Masterworks.
then.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had
Like,
those. Yeah.
you know,
Those were
my brother, he's 4 years older than me, and I went into my years ago, like I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. I was helping my parents clean out their garage, and the attic access is in the garage. So I went up there to look around, and my brother's baseball cards all still there. So that's fine. That's fine. But you know, my
well.
Marvel trading cards all gone.
I don't know. Maybe they thought since it's like they know baseball, like baseball is
Mm-hmm.
very popular. Everyone knows it's America's pastime. Like maybe they thought these are fine to keep, but these are just drawings on stuff. You know, they could go. I don't. Maybe
Yeah.
that was their logic, trying to play devil's advocate and
It's
defend.
just Eric's collection. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, but it would be nice to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fine. You favored him over me. Whatever. That's good. That's cool though, dude. I mean, I like my first book was a Thor book, like kind of very kid friendly. Wolverine, not super kid friendly at the time, so
No.
I'm surprised that was the one they were like, yes. I mean, did she look through it? Did she know what was in it?
I don't know. I probably not. Probably just thought it's a comic book. What could
Right.
what could it be wrong? I'm sure the person
like
that gave it to her was somebody she knew and trusted.
Probably.
You know, and I don't know. Maybe he showed it to her, and she's like, "That's fine." He's he's watching Terminator and Aliens, anyways.
I was gonna say, yeah, dude. I was gonna say, like, okay, and obviously this is a era of the times, whatever it may be, but like we were watching, like you said, Aliens, Terminator, Predator. You know, we were Wolverine cutting people in half. Like we were at a young age. Now though, it's kind of like if there's like a little bit of red liquid, it might be blood. It's not kid friendly anymore. Like I like. It's just so weird how like that gap is there, and I don't think we turned out to be terrible individuals. So
I agree. I think I'm perfectly normal and have my head on straight. Actually, to the point where I've raised my boys the same way. It's like, I was watching this when I was a kid. I don't want to shield you from these awesome movies. Wait till you're 16 or 18. It's like, no, you're 8.
Well, even
I watched this when I was 8.
Like even doing your own creations, like Battle Brick Road. I mean, I would consider it to be an all ages book. Like it's not like there's horrific like sexual content or violence or swearing. You know, so to me, right there, you're kind of fine. Like, so I don't know. So that's why I say like if an all ages like there's a lot of all ages stuff in the indie scene to us because of the way we grew up. So like, would you tell people like the stuff that I make for right now anyway, you can give it to a kid and they'd be fine?
Yeah, I know some parents might be like, well, because there's blood in it and
but
no
see,
harsh. Like there is a guy that gets ripped apart by a bear creature.
Dude, look at what the Predator did. He skinned people and hung them upside down.
I just tell them like, if I'm trying to, if somebody that I don't know, and I don't know their sensibilities, I'm like, well, it's like Indiana Jones adventure, and there's going to be 1 or 2 scenes where you're going to have the face melt scene. You're going to have the drinking of the Grail and completely, aging 100 years in a second.
Right. And so like, and to me, like, that's why to me, like comics, like they're a wide age group in that regard because of how I grew up. But in today's time, like you even have to say like I say on streams, like my book is for all ages, but I don't have any kids and I don't know how you parent. Like you got to kind of like say that stipulation in a way, even though you kind of shouldn't have to, mainly because it's not, to me, hardcore, like, sexual stuff to me is like the limit. I can understand some like extreme violence stuff maybe, but the sex stuff is like that makes it adult automatically, obviously.
Yeah.
But like violence, then you can kind of maybe gauge it a little. I can understand like ripping someone's chest out and then like playing with the blood. Like okay, that's a little adult content. But
Yeah.
so yeah.
Also, I think context is important too. It's like,
context is important.
Are they just doing it for fun, or is it like we're really trying to show how evil this villain is, or
That's true.
whatever? And
yeah.
It's like, well, I was growing up playing Mortal Kombat,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we were literally ripping heads off and lighting people on fire, and
yeah, ripping hearts out, holding them up,
and
stuff like that.
Every time I turned on the Sega Genesis, I would ABAB and get that blood code going.
That's
You
right.
got to play with the blood code.
Go ahead, Angela.
No, I was just saying, in the context of that too, it looks animated. So when you're looking at it, it doesn't look real.
Mhm.
So
That's
you kind of go,
that's what I was going to get at. Like
this is make believe.
Kids know it's fake. Like people tend to underestimate the intelligence of children. Like I'm not saying like 3-year-olds, but like a 10-year-old, they know it's fake. They know it's not real, and they know it's fantasy. Like there might be someone maybe who's schizophrenic and crazy, unfortunately, and they may not. But for the majority of it, children are pretty smart, man. My sister has 4 kids. I was around them all the time. They're highly intelligent. They understand an anvil falling from the sky isn't a real thing, killing coyotes. So like they get it. It's so that's why it's like, look, this is a comic, and they know it's a comic. So as long as I'm not slipping a nip, I think it's okay in that regard. So yeah, and like I said, Battle Brick Road to me is like an all ages thing. Do you ever plan on maybe doing something that's a little more hardcore, or do you like where you're at, like that like the story, the comic book tales and stuff?
No, I like where it's at. You just not necessarily riding the line, but just not being afraid to show violence or action or anything. It's just, I think it's good fun. I think it's entertaining.
It is.
And again, I think in essence that is kind of all. I think the term all ages has this connotation of, it just means all ages just means it's made for kids.
It gets a bad
young
rap.
kids, like it's basically saying all ages is it's G-rated. So but that's really not what it means. It just means anybody can enjoy it. And growing up, we had all these stories that were actually deep and rich, and even like the old classic Disney stuff. You got like Bambi's mother dies, she gets shot by a hunter, and he has to there's like, they don't, who does that anymore?
Never ending story. Kill the darn horse.
Oh dude, that traumatized everyone. I will
never watch it.
Yeah, every child is traumatized.
He just dies of sadness and sinks into a pit.
It's so terrible.
Sorry, I just can't.
Thanks for depressing everyone, Angela. Stream is over now.
I'm here all night. Past Master Dan.
What's up, Past Master Dan? Good to see everybody. Please like and share. By the way, I will say, if you don't want to hear any of this crap, and you just want to back his book, link is pinned to the top of the chat, as well as in the description below. So you can just go there and check out his website, pick up all the cool stuff, check out Bob's Your Uncle. So, but please listen to what Eric has to say. He's a wise man. He's a dad. So you did mention you spent time in the service. What were you doing there? What was your position?
I was in the Army. I was 11 Bravo, which is infantry, but I never went overseas. So I basically, oh, you're welcome, or thank you, or I never know how to respond to that. But
I know. And I'm like, I'm supposed to tell people this. But anyway, no, but seriously, thank you. I never knew that about you.
Because you mean it. Yeah, thank you.
I meant it. Yeah. I really did mean it. I did.
We both heard her. She said she only does it because she's supposed to.
Well, I say it, but I do mean it. Okay, that's not awkward. Okay, I'm gonna leave now.
I was in the infantry, but I never went overseas. So basically, I just cleaned. You clean, you train, and you clean. And then I played a lot of World of Warcraft in my downtime. So that was my Army experience.
Well, I mean, still, you went in, dude. That's more than what I would ever have done, even if I was healthy. So I'm a coward. So I got somebody else more brave than me to handle that.
I got caught up in the the romance of all of that. Just I fell in love with that idea. I was watching Band of Brothers and reading all these war books, and I thought, I want to be a part of that. And then I joined.
Did you collect G.I. Joe, and was it also that? Or sorry, Angela.
There you go.
I had G.I. Joe. I don't think it was anything like that.
Okay.
That I don't think that really had any influence on it. It was just sort of that idea of duty and serving your country and all that, it really resonated with me when I was
Right.
in my late teens, early 20s. So um,
What year was
kind of,
what year was that?
I signed up in '03 and did 2 years. Got out early on a medical discharge,
Okay.
and I haven't. I mean, It's funny. Like I had a really good experience. Injury notwithstanding, I had a really good time. Even in basic, I've talked to people like, "You're the only person I've ever heard say they enjoyed basic training." Like, I was a blast. I'd do it all over again.
Wow,
Uh,
that's pretty. Yeah, that is
yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
Usually people think it's a
something.
nightmare. Yeah.
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 I just view it as a lot of people yelling at you and doing a lot of exercising. So
It's
I don't
pretty
know.
close. Yeah, but
Okay.
it was fun. I mean,
I mean, hey,
I understood the game. I understood what my role was there. Is just basically do what you're told. I can do that. That's easy.
yeah, if somebody,
Um,
yeah, it's somebody tells you to do something, just go do it. Like you don't have
mhm.
to, dude. Oh man, I've seen TikTok, of course, but it was somebody else shared it. But about this girl saying, "Ain't no army sergeant gonna tell women what to do if we go in there. We need a please and thank you." It's like you're in for a rude awakening. You go into the
Mhm.
military. It's like
Yeah, I'm
ain't
sure
no
it's
please and
I'm
thank
sure
you.
it's
Do
a
what you're
different.
told.
I'm sure it's a different military than even when I was in it. Because
It,
Oh,
even
I'm
when I
sure.
got there, like it was softer than maybe what even a decade ago from when I joined. Maybe it would have been like in the early '90s
I
as
don't
opposed to
know.
Oh
early
yeah,
2000s.
Yeah, but
for
I don't see
sure.
a drill sergeant going up to somebody and say, "Can you please go run this obstacle? Please go run the
That's
Thank
true.
obstacle course
you.
if you have
That's true.
time. If it's up to you, your delicate
Nah.
sensibilities, please
Hmm.
go ahead." So, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how it is today. I had a friend who was in the Marines, did a few tours and stuff like that. But that was like you said, that was like early 2000s, late 90s,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, different time, and we're in a different time. Just look at things that happened in the past 10 years. Even in that time gap of how much has changed just in pop culture and in like even in regular culture itself,
Mm.
it's so drastic and so just like sometimes this getaway is nice just to get away from that surreal just I don't know, man. It's like like I don't know what happened. Like I went away
Yeah.
for a little
Hmm.
because I went to college too. What'd you go to college for?
Graphic design.
Graphic design.
Hmm.
Yeah. And did they help? You were drawing the whole time? Did they help with the illustrations there, or did you mainly learn like typography stuff like that?
It was all that typography and the fundamentals of design, all of that, rule of thirds and all that stuff.
Mm.
I took other art classes, um, and I got an art scholarship because I did I had a portfolio from high school art, and I got a scholarship to the school, and I thought the design department was pretty cool, and they were just in there. It was like one big room and all these computers in there. Everybody's like on these, you know, Mac computers, and I thought this is the
Hmm.
coolest thing ever. There's a refrigerator in here with snacks. Like this is great. I didn't even pursue like art. I went into graphic design,
That's
and
more reputable.
Yeah,
yeah.
probably.
But
Like,
what one of the things that happened that I thought was kind of weird is I didn't really understand that maybe people that do graphic design aren't necessarily artists. Because I would do sketches
That's
and
true.
drawings, and I'd add drawings to different designs, and everybody's like, "Wow, you're such a good artist." I'm like, Can't all of you draw? Like,
can't
what are we
all of you
doing
draw?
wrong?"
Yeah,
Yeah, that I don't why is this such a big deal? Like, we're all here, we're all
Right.
in the art department. Why can't you draw? So,
dude, it was
um,
pretty bad because I did initially go for graphic design as well because they didn't offer
Hmm.
an illustration program when I went, and then later they did, and I took it. But even when I went in, dude, I drew better than the animators, and I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. Like, you guys
yeah,
should be crushing it, and like I'm better than you are at the age of like early 20s because I didn't go right away, but I'm like, you guys should be crushing illustrating, no problem,
mhm.
and graphic
Hmm.
design like that. But at the same time, graphic designers are artists, like they really are. Just
Yeah,
people don't
sure,
view it
yeah,
as an art form in the
It's a different
traditional
kind of.
sense.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that like you hear people say, "I'm just a writer." It's like, well, no, you're an artist. Like you write, you paint with your words. It's
mhm,
they're like, and
Hmm.
I understand people like, oh, everyone's an artist at that point, and yeah, that is true. Like they're like a woods somebody making a chair, you're an artist. Like I can't do that. It takes an artistry to do that, but a
yeah.
skill
Well, some
set,
chairs are just chairs, but,
some chairs are just chairs.
but
This is very
then
true.
there are those legitimately, like, works of art. But, yeah, I mean, graphic
Yes.
design is an
Hmm.
art. And then when you see great graphic design, it's art. And then there's just, the flyer for the local grocery store. I mean, that's technically graphic design. I wouldn't call that art.
True.
But
you
for
have
sure,
you have to have an artist's eye and even to do it though, because even
That's
that
true.
brochure for the supermarket, you have to understand layout, and that in itself is an art form. So it like you said, it may not be considered high end art in any of that regard or art itself, but you have to have an artist's eye, like to do that. There's a great book, Leo Tolstoy's "What Is Art." Everybody should read it. It's a fun, fantastic book. Well, I don't know about fun, but it's a fantastic book. It's Tolstoy after all. But yeah, that goes into the art part of things, and it just like to me, people downgrade some things often. Like dude, and we're gonna get into it obviously because you're the indie letterer of the century. Dude, when I lettered my first books, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I had to look up, how to letter. I had to go to Blambot. I went to all these sites. I went to all these things just to learn the most minuscule. Like I even took some typography. Yeah, and I even took
lettering
some
for dummies.
And and I'm the dummy. So, but I took some typography in college that I had to, and it's dude, I don't know. You have to really care about that type of art in order to really, because it's the most dull, boring thing to me. So whenever you're creating even your books, because you obviously letter yourself, you're not going to pay somebody else to letter your books. Why would you?
Right.
So what part do you get more I don't know about excited is the right word, but which part do you like really lose yourself in the most? Is it the art, or is it like you dive deep into the typography?
Probably the art. Lettering is, I don't want to say I don't do it on autopilot, but it sort of comes naturally. And maybe that's the graphic design background, because I'm, thinking about, or maybe it's just the art background of drawing comics for so long. It's like, well, I kind of understand where things need to go. So a lot of that's still on kind of on autopilot, where I can just sort of at a glance know where something should go, or know if it's wrong, or look at it a second time and realize I was wrong the first time. But I get more, I don't know if I actually really get lost in anything, because I would say I'm very present in most of what I do. Because drawing in particular, it's actually quite a struggle for me to get it to look how I want it to look, and there's a whole lot of fighting the page. But lettering is certainly an easier art form for me to do. And there are days and pages and books where it's quite a battle, because the amount of words and the amount of space don't match. Trying to figure out how to squeeze this dialogue in here, or just make it look good, or make it read the right direction without covering up something. There's a lot to it, but
would you say maybe I'm not saying it's easier by any means of the stretch, but do you think maybe it's a little more comforting, or I don't know, I don't want to insult the lettering part of it, but like drawing, like it has rules that can be broken. You got to know when to break them, when to do this, and what to do there. With typography, with lettering, like it's kind of like you need your kerning here, you need your leading here, you need to have it this space, this the diamond. Like there's set rules like that kind of need to be there that you almost don't bend. Like, I mean, yeah, you can play with them, because like you said, like if somebody's whispering, you make the font a little smaller, the bubble bigger, something like that. So do you think maybe it's because with the way drawing is in that art part of it, it's so much more loose in the interpretation that it might be just a little more focusing in, and you can kind of, like I zone out when I'm cross hatching, even though I'm not zoned out. So I know what you mean. But so with lettering, like it's like these are the rules, so you can kind of go on autopilot because you know the rules, like they're just there, so you just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. I think the lettering, I mean, and plus just the digital lettering we do, a lot of that stuff's kind of handled on its own, and I'm more worried about placement, readability, finding the right font, making the sound effects match, or the font match with the art style. So I guess the real fundamentals. I mean, we live in a day and age where the professional commercial fonts that I'm able to work with kind of handle that, and then it's just tweaking it one time to make it look just right for the book, and then with Adobe Illustrator, you just copy, and that style could be.
Do you know how to do traditional lettering?
I know how to. I've only done it. maybe once, and not
How
on a large scale. Like I know how to use the Ames guide and all of that, but it's
how
not
tedious
something I've
was it?
done. It's not great. You gotta rule it out, and I
Right.
didn't have consistent handwriting, so it
Hmm.
wouldn't have. It's
Ah,
not something that's gonna.
Dude, you know what? I think that might come from the illustration side of you because a lot of like illustrative or visual artists have chicken
Mhm.
scratch. Like their
Yeah,
handwriting is just trash. Like mine is
yeah.
terrible. I mean, let alone I can't see what I'm
I
writing.
think my
But
handwriting has gotten worse as I've started to letter more and more.
oh
So
no.
yeah,
Ah,
well, think about how often we actually do it though. Like
yeah.
cursive, dude. I can't count the last time I wrote in cursive, and I still try to do it now and then. I'm like, how do you make this letter again? Like I even forgot that. We were taught
oh
it.
my goodness.
So
Writing in
yeah,
Yeah, I
text
so
mean,
sometimes is painful.
we taught our kids that.
oh
My
nice.
my youngest is learning cursive right now because they don't teach it anymore. We homeschool,
No,
so they're
dude, and
definitely
No,
learning it.
it's almost like a
Um,
coded
that's
language
good.
now in a way.
yeah,
Like you could
and
teach
I'm
them
like, "What
cursive, they
letter
could
is that? I forgot how to is that an R or a
dude,
Z?"
Nice.
the capital Q is still a mystery to me. Like,
Mhm,
oh my god, does it look like a two or something? I can't
Oh my
remember. So yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, the
mhm.
capital Q was Billy and I were talking about. I think it was Billy, but yeah, we were talking about that. It was funny. But who are some of your artistic visual art influences, your drawing influences in comics?
It's certainly changed throughout the years. Growing up, I was a big Jim Lee guy.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
goes without saying.
that that and then his I guess you could say clones. I mean, Brett Booth was in there, and um, eventually it led to Lineal
Mm,
Francis Yu was a big influence for a few years, and I think from there it sort of moved to Greg Capullo and Ryan Otley. I can't talk today. Um, those guys kind of at the same time, and it was really neat to see um, when Haunt came out in like 2006 or whatever.
Mm.
hmm
Um, that they both worked on that series. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, Haunt's really
Um,
good.
yeah, and then yeah, Otley, Capullo, and there's been a handful of other artists sprinkled in there. Zach Howard,
I'm
really
not
love
familiar
his
with
line
Zach
work.
Howard.
Um, he's more of an indie guy. He did some
Okay.
professional, like corporate stuff back in the day, but he does his own stuff. But his inking is just heavy. And
Oh,
then
nice.
Pepe, I really like Pepe Larraz's work.
Oh, it's nice.
He's got a
Yeah,
nice
you're
painterly
mentioning
line
people
art
I'm not aware
style.
of. That's cool, man. I
Yeah,
like that. I like hearing different influences and stuff because, like, I'm influenced by plenty of different people than what, like
yeah.
you said, Jim Lee is like kind of like a, especially for us, like who grew up in pretty much late '80s, to the '90s. Jim Lee
Hmm.
was just there, like he was the man. So you
Yeah,
obviously, you no matter what you collected, your eye was always on Jim Lee,
yeah.
and he
And
kind
then
of he
he
changed, yeah,
changed it for artists. So everybody was like, that just became the style, you
yeah.
know?
Which it's also a tedious style at that, in a way,
Hmm.
because it's, I don't know, it's not anatomically correct. It's not right, but it looks it like it's very comic
It
booky
looks
at the
like a
same time.
comic book should look.
It looks like how a comic should look,
Yes.
but also if
Yeah.
you do it right, it still also takes quite a lot of time. So
Hmm.
I mean, he obviously had ghost artists and people helping him out in some regards here and there. Like I remember there's a story I think Will Protasio told on a stream where there was one day they both stayed up for like over 24 hours trying to see who could knock out a page pretty much in the highest
Hmm.
quality, like at the fastest rate. They were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a pretty wild story, but like you're getting to that level where they're trying to work on a page and get it turned in time, and they're up for like 2.5 days. So like that shows you the brutality and the grueling aspects of the mainstream where you have to put out that page a
Yeah.
day. We're kind of fortunate in the indie scene where we could produce a high quality level of artwork and still be it that high because we don't have that time constraint. I mean, there's a little bit of one which we have the estimated shipping date, and life happens. Sometimes we don't
Well,
reach
even
it.
that is like that's really a shot in the dark in
It
some
is.
sense. Like you can have a rough idea, like I know I can draw this fast. I should be able to get this many pages done by this time, but it's not our full-time jobs for us indie creators. So there's always going to be something that comes up and slows that down. And then there's all the other delays that can happen depending on who you're working with. And then it's like, oh, well, now the printer is backed up. If you print in China, oops, it's the Chinese New Year and they're not going to print for 2
Yep.
months.
Or
Or,
or oops, I fell in the winter and broke my arm. Like
Yeah.
I can't. I'm kind of SOL
Yeah.
now. Yeah, and that's why I tell everybody. That's why I just say estimated. But and I know people like work. The indie scene's kind of notorious for the late books, but it's like you said. For I think one reason being is it's not our full time job. Like I guarantee you 90% of the people doing this have full time jobs, if not more than 90%. And that like your real life, your bills, like this is real life, but it's not. Like it's kind of a weird, surreal part of our
It is
our
in a
work, our
weird
day.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you paying your bills, taking care of your family, all that stuff. I always say family first. That's my main thing, and making sure your health is there. That's also a top priority as well. Once those are out of the way, yes, we hammer away at the pages. We stay up for like 18 hours straight, 24 hours, whatever, and sometimes on days off. Like I'm fortunate. I don't have children. I'm not married. I could kind of get away with taking 12 hours out of my day and working on a page until I go back to work from the shoulder injury. But then I'm working 8 hours. I'm going to the gym. Because like I said, you got to stay healthy. Going to the gym, and then hammering away on a page till about 3 or 4 in the morning. Wake up early the next day, do it all again. So but we do it because we love it. Like we're not getting rich off of this, and this isn't our full-time job. So you can tell the people who are in this because of the love of it. And like you obviously love doing this. Like you could I'm sure you'd love to spend your time doing it, hanging out with people or your friends, your family. But you're like, hey, I got to letter a couple pages today. I'm sorry, I can't. Like it's a love, it's a passion. Or even draw a page today or a panel. Like like you said, it's highly detailed stuff that we have going on.
It is, and I think there's also that aspect of it's certainly different than the mainstream because they get way ahead of schedule. Generally speaking, they get a book drawn and then it's not known about until maybe they're on issue 3 or 4. So then they solicit it, and you got to wait another few months before it even comes out. And they're drawing way ahead of that, and that's a whole other thing. And then here we are saying, I need the money, the funds to actually make this happen. So I'm going to be drawing it right now, and I'm going to be making it right now, and not it's already done. Obviously, if we speed that up or work further ahead or whatever, then that would be a good thing. But we don't always have that luxury again because it's not a full time job. It's like working in the wee hours of the night or on the day off, saying, "Okay, I only got a full day to put in on this or that."
And not only that, like we got to create the book, and let's just say all you did was pencil it. It's the only thing you did. Yeah, you got to pencil it, but you're the head leader on the campaign, so you're out there promoting. So then you got to spend a good 3 to 5 hours out of your day on YouTube channels, on social media, on whatever it may be, promoting your book to get sales, because we have to sell ourselves. So you're also the marketing team at that point. So it's like there's only so many hours in the day to produce what we're doing. So, and I'm sure, like I said, you'd rather be drawing that page over sitting. And yes, I actually enjoy doing this. I love talking to people, interacting with chat. It is fun. And but I could sit there and draw out a page though, and or at least do a panel in the time it takes to do sometimes one of these streams that go for like 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes this one's only going to be an hour, so thankfully you won't waste that much time.
But we all got to get back to work, right?
We all got to get back to work, and even it being a weekend, still working. So so your kids do you have, not to dox, but like are they under or over 18?
Under, yeah, two young boys.
So you're still. Okay, so you're still like you still would want to spend time with your children, is what I'm getting at. Over like hanging out with Jason Bascom and Angela Curry on a stream. So, not to say we're not delightful, but just saying like it's a grind. It's something we doing it because we love doing it. It's kind of like a drug. Like we have to get this creative process out.
And for me, it's like I'm not gonna get it done unless I have a real reason to. Like, I want to make the book, but then it's like I guess you could call it procrastination will take over. But if I have now I have deadline, now I have a reason to finish it, like a legitimate reason, because I have people actually buying it right now. It's like money is on the line, literally on the line right now. So when it's not like that, I guess I'm like, okay, well, nobody's even paid for it yet, so I can relax. Spend more time on the lettering, make some money that way, and maybe I'll draw a little bit. But now it's like deadline time. Book's done. I want to get it done and as quickly as humanly possible. again, as it is not the full-time gig, how do I balance that? And you just take each day as it comes, or take each
Right.
hour as it comes in some days. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and Henry says you can't really be a crusty old curmudgeon and sell books. People want to like their creators. So
Yeah.
And that dude,
yeah,
that is true.
you guys are real people.
I can't count how many people I've seen trying to promote their book, and the book looks great, but they're tools, for lack of a better term. So I'm like, I'm not backing this guy. I'm like, he
Mhm.
seems, not only does he not seem like a cool person or like a down to earth dude, but he doesn't seem like he actually cares what he's doing. He's almost like he's doing this for a financial reason, like he's trying to get, that Netflix deal or something. I don't want this project. I just don't. And it sucks for the
Yeah.
other people working on it, but. And that's what's fortunate for us too, though. Like, you can tackle more than one thing at a time. Well, not at a time, but you don't have to pay out as many people. I don't have to pay out as many people because
Mhm.
you're the letterer, you're the inker, the penciler. Like, you can tackle a lot of these things at once. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
I can absolute. I did the whole thing. I just had to pay Shay to edit it. That was it. So there are those in where we can kind of. But you're right. Dude, I'm working on a thing now. It's in pre-launch. I can easily finish a page in a day. I've been doing it. But now
Yeah.
I've slowed up a little bit because I'm like, I really don't have to get it done. Like, there's nobody really back, like, maybe in the future they're going to back it. Yes. But right
that
now,
pressure's not there,
yeah,
right?
pressure's not there. Yeah.
Pressure's not there.
Yeah.
So
And I would be drawing
that's when you
either
have
way,
to
but-
somehow, that's when you have to somehow, like, put that pressure on yourself if it's not there. Like, how do you get your, and this is true for anything really. It's like we want to be comfortable. We want to sit on the couch in our pajamas and not worry about it. It's like, if the pressure's there, okay, well, the neighbor just mowed their lawn. The pressure's there now. Now I have to mow mine. So my yard isn't the one that looks ratty,
Yep.
and then that can be applied to anything. So when you're not actively crowdfunding or even promoting the book, or whether it's a webcomic and you're giving it away for free or what have you, if that pressure's not there, that's like, you really have to just love it unconditionally, and it's all you ever want to do, without any other obligations. Then maybe you can do it without that, or go with however the muse strikes you or whatever. But you gotta put the pressure on yourself somehow.
Yeah. And like, it's almost forcing it. Like you said, you can sit there and wait for the muse to strike. And yes, when it does, you produce some really good stuff because you're in that. Like, I was hanging out with Dan Plagle last night, and he's like, I might, he was cleaning up his room. He's like, I kind of feel like I want to draw. I'm like, dude, take advantage of that, because he's been, not feeling too great. And I'm like,
Right.
dude, take advantage of that. Use that. You want to draw. Like, I don't care, just do it. So sometimes when that muse hits, it's like, it's almost an itch you got to scratch, but you sometimes have to still force that muse, though, if you're doing these things, and still produce that high quality that you get whenever you hit that inspirational hit. So it's like, and when you do that, though, like the people who punch in and out and do the 9 to 5 art, drawing comics or lettering them or doing whatever you may do, I think it kind of dulls them a little bit too. I think you have to still stay fresh, and like, that's why that muse is good. Like, if you're doing it as a job, and then all of a sudden at 9 p.m. you're like, I really got to draw. Do that. Just draw whatever. It could be anything. It just make sure you keep that love that you had as a child of drawing. And otherwise you're going to get desensitized, and you're just not going to be like, okay, what's my job now? Lettering's my job.
Yeah.
Drawing's my job.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think of it then as a fun thing that you actually do. And don't get me wrong, plenty of times I'm working on pages and it feels like work. It feels like a job. Like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to do it right now. But there's plenty of times where I'm like, I'm just going to draw some weird, tentacle creature with, 18 eyes. Fun stuff, And I think that's key. So do you work mainly traditional or digital?
I used to work traditional, but I've gone to the dark side. I work digital now. I can get the pages to look how I want. I've always struggled with specifically inking. I don't like to ink. And I found a way to work digitally that I'm still able to draw, and I feel like I'm just drawing with a pencil, but the lines come out
Right. Yeah.
in an ink style, just with I found the right brush that just feels just right. And that has certainly helped quite a bit. I should do traditional, it's nice having original art, but I think I'd relegate that stuff to like pinups and stuff like that, or commissions. Because people say, well, you should be, if you're making comics, you should be drawing them traditional because look at all those pages you could sell. I'm like, okay, I hear you, but I'm going to sell that page one time for $300, and let's say maybe 500, maybe even $1,000, and let's say then Battle Brick Road becomes a huge hit, worldwide phenomenon, the Michael Jackson of comic books, in the good way, by the way. The
Yes.
Michael Jordan of comic books. And then it's like, well, I already sold all my artwork for $300 to $500 a pop, and now collectors are selling them for $10,000, $20,000. It's like, what good does that do me? So,
right.
I guess it's a cynical way of looking at it, but yeah, working digital, and I work in a production too. Like I've done illustrations for. I did an illustration, actually, no, a couple, for like trading card things, and some concept art, and all that stuff's digital because it's a pipeline, commercial art kind of thing. So it's just, I don't know if I draw my comic book pages any faster digitally, but I get them to look how I want them to look for the most part, way more than I do with inks and.
I think
Can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead, Angel.
This is like not related, so you go ahead and I'll ask after because I know we only have an hour, but I don't want to.
Okay, it's fine. If I can remember my question.
Shoot.
No, regarding to inking and traditional pages. I mean, like I work both ways, in traditional and digital, and all depends on what I'm doing. But I think inking, especially digitally, it's definitely a lot easier. Like, I mean, it also depends on the materials you use, obviously. But
yeah,
everybody does harp on that whole traditional digital thing. It's like you're also looking at it though as a time management issue because, like you said, this isn't our full-time job. So working digital, you can kind of be like, oh, I don't have to erase the whole page now physically, re-pencil it. Like you can work a little faster. It is also a question because you zoom in. You can't zoom in with your eyes if you're working traditionally. So there is that balance. There's that back and forth. And yes, traditional pages are nice to sell, but how many people can afford to buy those? So
and what pages will sell? And what if I do it and I just sit on them for forever?
Exactly, dude. So I mean, there's the balance. I don't know. I think also everyone I think should just learn traditional from the get-go. Learn it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I learned. That's how I want my
and
kids
it'll
to
just
learn.
help your digital stuff. But Angela, go ahead. What was your question?
I'm just really curious. How did you become the letterer of CG? When did that start? I mean, can you do that?
Absolute luck. I had lettered before on my own book, Flying Fortress, back in the mid 2000s, and it was a process I enjoyed. I never really thought about making it anything at all. I liked doing it on my own book because I got to the coloring stage of the page. I don't like coloring, and then I got when the coloring was done, I got to letter the book, and it was like coloring's done. I think there was this like relief. So then the lettering started, and I had that positive vibe going into it. So I enjoyed it. Finished Flying Fortress, and then I get a job from a mutual comic book creator here in town, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, they're looking for a letterer and they're paying. You should try it out." And I did. I got the job, and then a couple of months later, John Malin posted on Twitter that they needed a letterer for Graveyard Shift. And after doing that one job, I was like, I can do this. I made money lettering a comic book. It's really easy.
What's up, SDA?
Let's just go for it. And then I applied for that lettering gig for Graveyard Shift from John and Mark. Got it. Yeah. Right after I got that job, John was also drawing Jawbreakers, the first Jawbreakers Lost Souls. So I emailed your boy Zach and I said, hey, I'm lettering John's other book. I'd love to letter this one. Got that job too. And I mean, after that, those were two of the largest books. I mean, what was the other one? Cyberfrog. And at the time, Red Rooster, I lettered that. And the only other big book at that time that I can think of was, Earthworm Jim. I lettered that. And then Mike's book, Lone Star. That's the only one I didn't letter.
That was 18? Was it 17 or 18? Because I know the whole Jawbreaker controversy was, I can't remember.
Yeah, 17 going into 18. I think it was 17. September of 20. I have a screenshot somewhere where Zach hired me. It's one of my folders buried deep within the recesses of a hard drive. But I think it was September 2017.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And now you're also lettering ISOM too. So,
Yeah, I lettered, I letter all of the Rippaverse stuff. I started with ISOM 1.
You run one. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, as a freelance, just a freelance, contractor. Right. And then now I'm on payroll at Rippaverse. I work here full time. Cool, so man. I do the lettering, the pre-press, their website, graphic design stuff.
Yeah, so I want to get to the campaign. We will here real quick,
okay.
But how do you in a real quick answer, maybe if you can, how do you delegate the writing, the lettering to the drawing? Like, because you got your own comic to draw and do everything with, and you got all these projects. Like I know of like 2 or 3 of people that aren't even started yet. So how do you manage that?
A checklist. So I still take my lettering as the day job. So that is basically the 9 to 5.
Okay.
And then I can letter pretty quickly too. So if I know like, I have this many jobs, I have 2 books I need to letter this week. Well, I can knock those out by Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I know Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I don't have anything else to letter except maybe a couple edits that come in here or there. So then I have those days to draw. And then if I get like a job, I'm like, hey, are you available to letter this book? And it's Thursday night. I'd be like, yeah, I can get to it next week because I'm going to be spending Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. I'm going to be drawing my book. And then I can front load the week with lettering. That's sort of how it's evolved over time.
Nice.
But, and I spend my actual 9 to 5 is Rippaverse stuff. So I'm working on that throughout the day. And then if there's there's downtime, every once in a while, not tomorrow, Monday is the big launch for Alpha Core. So downtime is going to go away, but there's downtime, it's like I did the thing and we're in between. I'm waiting on edit. So let me switch over here. I'm going to letter this page for this other client, or let me draw a little bit and then get a message saying, hey, we need this graphic design done. Switch right over back to that. Get that done as soon as possible. Switch back. It's a whole lot of back and forth, but
crazy.
I'm used to it now.
No,
I'm sure you get used to that pattern. But speaking of lettering and drawing, we got a fantastic book. We got Battle.
3, 2, 1, roll 5.
You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the Battle Brick Road.
Let me turn off dark mode. Yeah, hey, real quick, tell us about Battle Brick Road.
Battle Brick Road 2 is the sequel to Battle Brick Road 1, cleverly titled. This is we're picking up right where the first book left off. Thea has been rescued from almost certain death by Scarecrow, and he's seen that she is on a mission that will help him in his quest for vengeance. So they team up and further travel down this Yellow Brick Road, where they'll discover a couple of more friends and a whole lot more danger on the way. We're going to finally meet Tin Man. We're going to finally meet the Lion on this adventure in this book. And there's a whole lot of action. I'm wrapping up the final page and a half of the first half of the book. The first chapter, each book is 2 chapters. So the first chapter is the line art's almost complete. Getting ready to wrap that up and start on the next one. That'll be done this week, and I'll actually get started on the next one this week too. So moving right along artwork wise, everything's written. In fact, the script is all the way up to like book. I think all the way through book 3 is done.
Oh, so. Wow. Who's your writer?
Zeb Hatfield.
I want to get
he's a friend of mine. We actually used to live in the same town. He's moved away since, but We found each other sort of randomly at a men's group church event at my church. And that book that I mentioned that I lettered for a friend when I realized I can do this, he wrote that book. And then we met like, wait, you write, I draw. I'm not doing a comic right now. You're not doing a comic right now. Like, so it was like, let's do something together. And that's how Battlebrick Road. That's the short version of how Battlebrick Road came to be. And then we've been working on that ever since.
Dude. No, see, I like those little tidbits, little backstory. And I want to give props to him because I know you do a lot on this book, and I know he's writing it. So
this book would not be the way it is without Zeb. His writing has been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I wish I could say I agree. I can't really read the books, so it sucks, dude. It really does. But I look at the pretty pictures. So
I will say the lettering is what we have now is great.
I will say I've heard nothing but great things about the story of Battlebrick Road 1. Like everybody raves about
people
it.
Have really it's really resonated with people.
People who I trust say that it's an amazing book. That one of the best books that came out that year. So you have a really cool oh no, go ahead.
The first cover though, that now that you've told me your history with CG, it kind of now goes full circle because Malin and someone else colored that cover that also were involved in the Jawbreaker book. Is that what I understand? I can't remember.
Yeah, on this campaign, cover B, there with the Emerald City in the background. That's drawn by John Malin, colored by Brett Smith, and they were the art team on Jawbreaker's Lost Souls. So and that's the first piece they've done together since that book. So nice. It's kind of bringing.
I probably should have had you share it. You would have been able to navigate your website better than me. I did back it. It's just my eyes are terrible, so I'm just like clicking things. But you have a great. I don't know which one it is here, and I picked it up. Do you have any of those available where it's like a random cover? That thing was so cool, dude. Can you talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that cover, the one that's with the white background.
This one.
That is our website exclusive. It was like, how do we get people just to really drive into our website so they remember battlebrickroad.com. I wanted it because we're not crowdfunding anywhere else right now.
Right.
We will eventually probably do Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Fund My Comic, or what have you down the line. But we wanted to launch everything on our website, so I thought let's make a website exclusive cover. And that particular one is unique in that every version of it that's printed is unique. So however many we do, it'll be limited edition. However many we sell, we'll number that many and sign that many with a book plate. And that's the only ones that get signed. But the covers themselves are going to be one for one unique. All of the placement of the characters and the bricks, the density, the rotation, all of that size, all of that stuff is for lack of a better term, randomized. I do have my finger on all of it to make sure it looks right. But our printer is able to put all of that into an algorithm, and then it'll print out however many, whether it's 50 or 1 million, and they'll all be different.
That's so wild because, like, I mean, I don't know exactly, but I have a loose familiarity with how printing works, and just with I mean, just thinking about that to me logistically is like, do they have to print one every single plate and like change it out and like change the things?
No, it is digital.
Digital,
printing.
It just mixes around and it's able.
Yeah, so it just shoots out another one.
Still,
and
pretty
then each one is
to me.
Yeah, and each one is tagged with its own code, its own like QR code or whatever the system uses, so that if you scan that, if you can put that back in the printer, and then you could repurpose that exact version of it. So it gives it basically its own barcode, and it knows that's what this configuration of art. So when we print the books, we're also going to have matching covers, not matching covers. When we print the books, we're going to have a matching print per each book. So if you back that cover, you're going to get a print that's the same as your cover, but you can actually hang it up on the wall. But it is your full cover, and again,
right, it's your unique individual cover specifically geared towards you in a way. Like this is yours. Nobody else has this. This is yours. I thought that was so cool, and it worked. I got it. I'm pretty sure I backed it, dude. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I know I backed the book, and I'm 99% sure I picked that up because I thought that was really cool. It's Hockey saying.
Hockey says, I do wish he's in Australia. He says, I do wish I was able to back. Shipping is stopping me from backing these days, but I do hope this does well. So I don't know, is there a digital option, or is there any way
no digital options right now, but somebody needs to hook hockey up with one of our gift cards. We have gift cards on the campaign. You can get a discount by using that gift card, and then you don't have to worry about shipping.
There you go. Somebody.
It's your birthday, Hockey. I might hook you up.
He already had it. Christmas. Sorry.
I'm just
for
kidding.
Christmas.
Oh,
Somebody could
man.
give
They
them an early
celebrate-
Christmas gift now, and there you go.
Do they celebrate Christmas in Australia?
I would
Almost
think they
certainly.
do.
I'm
Yeah.
just-
I would think they do. Poor Hockey. He gets asked this stuff all the time.
Yay.
When does this totally close out? Because I know you did like a closeout on Bancrofts. When does this totally come down?
Close out.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
When I get basically, I mean, the website's never going away.
No,
Just
right.
when we switch from crowdfunding to regular web store, I don't know when that is. Obviously, when the book's done, we'll do another probably a short Indiegogo Kickstarter Fund My Comic run as well. Right when we go to print, just to maybe have exclusive cover on one of those or something.
Nice.
But yeah, we will. That's in the air right now. We'll see.
Right.
But it depends
Well-
on how quickly I can get this book done.
Right. We're coming to the top of the hour.
But it's
and I
going to be
don't-
open for a while.
Well, that's good because I didn't go over everything in it. Like you got a shirt, you got a record.
When's the
Like, you gotta-
puzzles come out? Oh, the yeah, the
You
LP.
and your puzzles.
I will be putting
Oh,
puzzles up. I
the
swear they're
vinyl.
coming.
LP.
There you go.
Okay, I'm not
Puzzles are
backing until I
coming,
get the
Angela.
puzzle. I
Puzzles
want the
are
coming,
puzzle, and when
Angela.
I
There
get
you
the
go.
puzzle, you have my backing. So
But yeah, I
Okay.
didn't tackle everything on the site. So please, people, click the link in the top of the chat or in the description
Oh.
below and go to the website, browse it. He's got a lot of really cool stuff. The shirt looks cool. Like I said, you got the album there. You got variant covers. You got that weird mixing cover. You got you could add the signature, which you know that is not. Don't copy and paste that one. It won't work. So yeah, it's a great site, and I Inkspots and I are kind of looking forward to doing something similar of having our own website and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
seeing
great.
you, Mandy, Shane, all these people like work on it, it's an it gives us everybody a good idea. What Aerith,
Yeah.
to what you can do, on your
Yeah,
own.
there's a
without
lot of
anything
options out there. I think it's
Yeah.
great for people to try that. And if you use the Shopify platform, like
Mhm.
the
That's what
people
we're
that are
planning on using.
already there as customers, they can see all the other orders they've already made. So because
Yeah.
you have an account, once you back something, you kind of get an account there, and it's tied to your email address. So
Oh, nice.
very similar to Indiegogo that way. I found that out
Yeah.
yesterday from Mike.
Oh,
So
cool. That's
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
thanks.
and
Now you
Bancroft.
know.
Forgot about Bancroft. He's got his own site too.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and he's
click
in the
it,
chat.
everybody. Click those links. Yeah. So
Hit the lick.
man,
Hit the lick,
clicks.
guys.
Click the licks.
Hit the lick.
This non-dark mode is really messing with my eyes. Hold on here. Jason's got to remedy this situation. I know we're crunch time. Oh, there we go. So much better. So bright. Okay. Yeah, we're at the top of the hour, man. Angela, do you have any last questions? Does the chat have any last questions for the great Eric Waters?
I don't see anything relevant, but no, yeah, no, I'm excited about this book. Yeah, I really do love.
Me too. I love
Battle
the
I'll get
first
those
one.
puzzles
Battle
up very soon.
Okay.
And
So
as
anyway,
always,
it's happening.
Eric, I have one last question before we go. If you could work with anyone, whether it be writer, letterer, artist, colorist, living or dead, who would it be?
Dave Raposa.
See, I don't know who that is.
He's a concept artist, painter, illustrator, designer, comic book artist. I can't see this because they're super reflective because they're glass. But he did these Ninja Turtle paintings.
Oh,
Which,
you don't have to go get one. Oh, look at you taking one down. Look at you
There
taking
you
one
go.
down.
Maybe I won't.
Show and tell.
No, don't break anything.
Yeah, so he did this super
Oh,
super
dude,
realistic
look at-
Ninja Turtle stuff.
Look at that.
So I'm gonna eventually commission him to do a piece. I have to. It's my
you have to
on my
dude.
bucket
That's
list.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right, good choice.
Wow.
Man. Good choice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, we want to thank Eric for coming on. I know you couldn't come on last week, and I'm out of town
Yeah.
for the next couple weeks, so we had to do a Saturday stream.
Can we get
Is there any
2 thumbs up, Eric? No, it's Jeremy came in.
Go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice.
You're
nice.
encouraging me to get a new Mac because I really
Gotta
want that.
update.
I
Yep.
want those. Yeah. No, my Mac is
So
from
mad.
2014, so I got to do
Oh,
more
yeah.
than just update. So let's just say
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for coming on. I had a great time. I hope you did as well.
Thank you so much, Jason.
You're
Angela.
welcome. And if you want to
Had a
stick
good
around
time.
and hang out backstage, it's up to you. I'm going to play out the outro. But thank you to the chat. Hello, everybody out there. Go pick up Battle Brick
Cheers.
Road 2. And
Thanks for coming,
great one.
guys. Yep. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.